you're looking at one of the most hostile, uninhabited places on planet Earth. At over 665,000 square miles, Alaska reigns as the largest U.S. state, a territory surpassing the combined size of France, Germany, Italy, and the United Kingdom. Buried under its pristine glaciers and towering peaks lie riches beyond comprehension, trillions in oil, gas, and minerals. And yet, despite its riches, despite its magnificence, fewer than 750,000 people have dared to settle in this colossal, unforgiving land. That's scarcely one person for every square mile of its relentless, frozen expanses. In Alaska, driving hundreds of miles without encountering another human is commonplace. So what unspeakable horrors render this vast American frontier too inhospitable and relentless for human habitation? What bone-chilling realities have deterred Alaska from being colonized and populated like the lower 48 states? In this staggering video, we're tearing off the veil to reveal the 10 reasons why nobody lives in Alaska. From soul-crushing periods of darkness to the crippling isolation of the world's most remote settlements, to biblical swarms of blood-sucking insects, you won't believe the sheer torment awaiting anyone who dares to call this hostile land home. Brace yourself and watch till the end, because after witnessing these harsh truths, you'll never look at Alaska the same way again. Reason number 1: never-ending darkness. If long, endless periods of night seem like your personal version of hell, then living in Alaska may not be for you. The winters here are brutal, with some areas experiencing just a few hours of faint sunlight per day. In Utkigvik, the northernmost town in Alaska, the sun sets in November and doesn't rise again until late January. That's over 60 days of complete darkness. This extreme lack of sunlight can take a serious toll on one's mental health, leading to conditions like seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Symptoms include depression, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating, not exactly ideal for thriving in the harsh Alaskan environment. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons to support my channel. It means a lot to me. Reason number 2: the isolation. Alaska's vast, rugged terrain and sparse population mean that many communities are extremely isolated from the rest of the state, let alone the rest of the country. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, a staggering 40% of Alaskans live in what are classified as frontier or remote rural areas. Accessing basic services like healthcare or even grocery stores can be an immense challenge. In some villages, the only way in or out is by plane or boat. This extreme isolation isn't for the faint of heart. You'll need to be prepared to live a lifestyle of hardcore self-sufficiency. Reason number 3: the cost of living. If you do decide to brave the Alaskan frontier, be ready to open your wallet wide. The cost of living in Alaska is through the roof, with the state ranking 5th highest in the entire nation. Housing costs are nearly double the national average, and essentials like groceries and healthcare are exorbitantly expensive. Why so pricey? Well, when you live thousands of miles away from the contiguous U.S., it's mighty costly to ship in all those goods and services. The state's heavy dependence on the volatile oil industry doesn't help matters either. Reason number 4: seasonal affective disorder. We touched on this a bit with the darkness factor, but seasonal affective disorder deserves its own spotlight. As the name suggests, SAD is a form of depression directly linked to the changing seasons and reduced sunlight. In Alaska, the symptoms of SAD can be amplified tenfold by the extreme winter conditions. Lack of motivation, persistent low moods, difficulty sleeping. It's a recipe for feeling pretty darn miserable for months on end. While treatments like light therapy can help, SAD is just one more hurdle to overcome when living in this unforgiving climate. Reason number 5: resource extraction economy. Like many rural areas, Alaska's economy is heavily dependent on extracting and exporting its natural resources. Oil, gas, timber, you name it. And while this does generate a lot of jobs and revenue for the state coffers, it also makes Alaska highly vulnerable to market volatility. When demand for these resources drops or a new cheap source emerges, it can cripple entire sectors of Alaska's economy seemingly overnight. The overdependence on resource extraction is a double-edged sword that has led to numerous boom and bust cycles over the decades. Reason number 6, incessant rain. You'd be forgiven for assuming Alaska is just a frigid, snowy wasteland, but the truth is, it's actually one of the rainiest states in America. Thanks to its coastal location and complex geography, some areas like Ketchikan see a staggering 150-plus inches of rainfall per year. That's over 12 feet of endless drizzle, downpours, and gray skies. The interminable rain can be enough to dampen even the most cheerful of dispositions. It's no wonder many Alaskans find themselves fantasizing about sunnier climes. Reason number 7, lack of fresh produce. With its extreme northern latitude and harsh winters, Alaska has an incredibly short crop-growing season. As a result, most fresh fruits and veggies must be imported from the lower 48 states and beyond. This makes healthy eating an expensive luxury that many Alaskans simply can't afford. Unless you really, really love canned and frozen goods, a diet in Alaska can get monotonous very quickly. Luckily, some innovative practices like greenhouses and community gardens are slowly improving local food security. Reason number 8, scarce housing. Between the lack of developable land and high construction costs, Alaska has a serious dearth of housing options, especially in its more rural areas. Over half of rural Alaskan households are considered overcrowded, with multiple families crammed into small homes or even temporary shelters. And with rental vacancies hovering around just 4.6%, finding a decent place to live can be like striking gold. The housing crunch means many Alaskans end up spending far too much of their income just by putting a roof over their heads. Reason number 9, the high cost of goods. Remember that extreme isolation we mentioned earlier? Well, it doesn't just make travel difficult. It makes acquiring basic goods and supplies enormously pricey too. Pretty much everything that isn't locally produced or harvested has to be expensively shipped into Alaska from thousands of miles away. From clothing to furniture to electronics, Alaskans pay a premium for even the most mundane items. The costs can really start to add up, especially for essentials like utilities and healthcare that can't be avoided. Reason number 10, clouds of bloodthirsty mosquitoes. I wish I was kidding, but the mosquitoes in Alaska are the stuff of nightmares. These tenacious little suckers have earned the ominous moniker of the Alaska mosquito for their sheer aggression and persistence. Some scientists estimate over 20 different species are buzzing around, just waiting for a chance to drain you of every last drop of blood. During the warmer seasons, they descend on the state in biblical swarms, making any outdoor activity a battle for survival. Many a tough Alaskan has been driven inside, defeated by this merciless winged horde. Check out this next video on your screen to learn more about the U.S. states.